الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين. أما بعد, Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala advises us in His glorious book in Surah Al-Isra, chapter 17, in verse 80. بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وقل ربي أدخلني مدخل صدق وأخرجني مخرج صدق واجعل لي من لدنك سلطانا نصيرا. And say, my Lord, cause me to enter a sound entrance and to exit a sound exit, and grant me from yourself a supporting authority. Now, a sidq, truthfulness, is when words and deeds match. When somebody's truthful, whatever they're saying, they're doing. Whatever they're doing, they're saying. So the two match. But there's another level for a believer. It's done with sincerity to Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. It's done for Allah's sake. And it's a great, honesty and truthfulness is a great human quality. And actually many of the hadith, if a person is not truthful, he's not a believer. Lying and deceit and treachery takes a person from being a believer. So, but the verse, this particular verse, is interesting because we all engage in many actions throughout life. We have we go through a job, marriage, different endeavors in this life. And the entrance, when we enter into something, it should be in truth. It should be for the sake of Allah. When we want to embark on something, we should do it for the sake of Allah and mindful of His commands and His rules. We don't do whatever we want. We do what Allah wants. And we ask for His help in accomplishing it. So this is at the entrance side. The difficult part is the exit. That's the tough part. And it says, وَأَخْرِجْنِي مُخْرَجَ الصِّدْقِ. Many people enter with the best intentions and exit on a different state. And the dua in this verse is for Allah to help us maintain our truthfulness throughout the whole endeavor until it's done. Because there are many people, enter marriage, for example, with every good intention, and then they abuse their spouse or abuse their children. That's not a good exit. Or you enter a job with good intentions only to lie and cheat and try to get people out of the way so you can get promoted. That's a bad exit. That is not a sound exit. So, and many people, they have the best intentions, they get into a position of power, and then they turn into a tyrant. And the verses, we're asking Allah to help us, that when we enter into something with good intention, to make us remain on that good intention until we exit out of it. Because entering is easy. The exit is where the difficulty is. And that's where Allah rewards or punishes, not on the entrance, but on the exit. What state did you exit in? That's why there are other hadith that all the deeds are measured by their khawatimiha, by their ending. That's why your life, you can be the best believer, and if you falter at the end and die, you just wasted all of your life. So the exit is very important, is more important than the entrance. So we have to pay attention that we have to remain grounded on the truth throughout our endeavor, when we begin and as we exit. Because a believer, one of his properties is he's constant on morals, constant on good behavior. It doesn't change. Look at Sayyidina Yusuf. If there's anybody in history of mankind who was abused more than Sayyidina Yusuf, and he remained muhsin throughout his life, he never changed. The circumstances do not change a believer. A believer is constant and must be constant on the truth throughout every endeavor that he takes. In Surah At-Tawbah in chapter 19, verse 119, Allah says, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا اتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَكُونُوا مَعَ الصَّادِقِينَ. O you have believed, fear Allah and be with those who are true. we live in a world today where lying is if you're truthful, wow, that's something to take note of, because the majority are liars. They lie left and right. They deceive as long as the desired outcome is achieved. The end justifies the means. For non-believers, this is their motto. It doesn't matter if you cheat, lie, kill, as long as you achieve your result, everything's good. That is not what a believer does. The means are just as important as the outcome. In order to enlist Allah's help, your means have to be according to Allah's laws to achieve that result. So, a believer must say the truth no matter what the consequences are. We don't change our skin based on how the wind is blowing or how the polls are going or who is watching us. No. A believer is constant. He says the truth no matter what. Or don't say anything. If you're afraid that there are going to be consequences if you open your mouth, don't open your mouth. And if they elicit you to say something, don't say it. But if you do say the truth. And Allah will take care of you. So, this is kind of where many lose this, fail this test. Sometimes you say something just to get yourself out of trouble. That doesn't work. That does not work. The Sunnah gives us 3 instances where you may lie. And this is like white lies. One is, the speech of a husband and wife. A lot of times the husband and wife, they say some things to each other. Allah does not, count it as a lie for that. The second one is when you're trying to get 2 people, like if 2 people are fighting, you can say, so and so asked about you, but he didn't. Just to get them to reconcile. This is a good deed. So Allah doesn't count it as a lie. And the third one is during war. To the enemy, you lie. You do not tell them the truth. Because that's part of war. You don't help them. But other than that, you have to say the truth. So a truthful believer will say the truth in all situations and ask for Allah's support. There's a long hadith, where we're starting the 10 days of the Hijjah, and we think about Sayyidina Ibrahim. And in a long day about when people are, 50,000 years and the hisab hasn't begun. The judgment hasn't begun yet, and people are just like, who can go talk to Allah to get the hisab going? We need to either go to we need inshallah to go to heaven. So they start going from one who's going to talk, who's going to intercede with Allah. So they go to Adam, they go to different prophets, and one thing that sticks in my mind, that they went to Prophet Ibrahim and says, I can't, I lied. He lied twice in his life. Twice. One time is when they asked him who destroyed all the idols. He said, go ask the big one, the big shot. He left the big idol and put the axe on him and destroyed all the other ones. So that was one lie. The other one is when they were at the Namrud and he asked him who Sayyidah Sarah was. He said, she's my sister. Because if he said, she's my wife, he would have killed him so that he can have her. So those are the only 2 instances that Sayyidina Ibrahim lied. Where are we? Where are we from this? How many times do we lie every day? Every hour. Forget about day, every hour. If you go and tell your kid, come here, I got a sweet for you, and you don't give it to them, and they come to you, don't give it to them, it counts as a lie. If you try to get an animal to come to you with something and you don't give it to them, that counts as a lie. We have to understand the importance of being truthful and have our action and words match. We cannot have these two-faced. That's what hypocrites do. Hypocrites say one thing, do something else. And that's not what a believer is. When Sayyidina Ja'far ibn Abi Talib, when he went to Najashi, when they immigrated to Habasha, And they were asking him about the religion. Inshallah, I'll talk more about it next Friday. But he mentioned that, Sayyidina Muhammad, he said, God sent us a prophet, and he mentioned 4 qualities. We know his lineage, and we trust his honesty, truthfulness, and fidelity. Those are the 4 qualities that he chose to describe the prophet. So the 3 of them are honesty, truthfulness, and fidelity. Those should be in the character of every believer. If they're not in your character, work on getting them, because it is required. Even the disbelievers of Quraysh, they were fighting the Prophet. They didn't agree with him, but they entrusted him with their valuables. That's why during the immigration, he had to leave Sayyidina Ali in his bed so he can return the things that people trusted him with back to their owners. These are people trying to kill him. That's why he was known as As-Sadiq Al-Amin, the trustworthy, truthful person. Before you say a lie, you have to think 10 times, 100 times before you do it. We have to train ourselves to say the truth and let the consequences be whatever it is. Somebody knocks on the door, where's your dad? You teach your kid to say, my dad is not here. You're training your kid to lie. Just say, my dad is here, but he doesn't have time to talk to you. And people should understand that. You shouldn't have to lie. And these are little lies, and little lies bring other lies, and now it stack up and become big lies. So we should not train our kids to do that. And don't tell your kid, be truthful, and have them witness you lying to somebody else. People, especially kids, they learn with their eyes. They don't learn with what you tell them. You can tell them all you want. If you don't behave the same way that you're acting, they're not going to listen to you. They're going to watch what you do, and they're going to mimic you. So, pay attention to that part. So, these qualities of truthfulness, of fidelity, of honesty, they distinguish a believer from other people. If we abandon these qualities, we become just like everybody else. Where is the property? Where is the imtiyazat? The properties of a believer? You could, if you think that praying, paying zakat, and fasting and doing hajj is all that's required of you to be a believer, you're sadly mistaken. These are called the pillars of Islam, the foundation. What sits on top of them is Islam, is good behavior, is honesty, is fidelity, treating people right, not hurting others. That's all sits on top of that structure. That's what Islam is. It sits on top of those foundations. It is not the foundation. So we have, if they are not observed, then our acts of worship are meaningless. Actually, the acts of worship for somebody who lies and hurts others counteracts. It chases people away from Islam. Is that what Islam is? I don't want anything to do with it. So in this country, we have a double duty to be truthful, and be truthful for the sake of Allah and for the sake of Islam, because when people see you being truthful, they'll respect you and respect your faith, even if they don't agree with you. They will still respect you. They may hate you, but they'll still respect you. We cannot be like everyone else. We have to stand out. If we don't stand out, then why are we here? We have to be good examples of Islam and Muslims by example. Don't open your mouth. Don't tell people, go read these books and this and that. Let them see Islam in your behavior. That is more effective, because that's how people learn. They learn with their eyes, not with their ears. And we need the courage in these evil times to stand for what is right. Because evil people are coming in and trying to shove their evil down your throat and get you to agree with it and to accept it. We will never accept it. We see what happens to Christians. Christians beginning to crumble. You have, gay priests and, going into church and marrying two homosexuals. This will never happen in a Muslim society. I would rather die than see that happening to here. And we have to stand up and for what is right and say, this is not my personal position. This is my God's position and my faith position, and I'm with my faith and with my God. So if you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, don't like it. And I finish with the verse 55 from Surah Hud, chapter 11. When the people of Sayyidina Hud were challenging him, he says, فَكِيدُونِي جَمِيعًا ثُمَّ لَا تُنظِرُونَ إِنِّي تَوَكَّلْتُ عَلَى اللَّهِ رَبِّي وَرَبِّكُمْ مَا مِن دَابَّةٍ إِلَّا هُوَ آخِذٌ بِنَاصِيَتِهَا إِنَّ رَبِّي عَلَى صِرَاطٍ مُسْتَقِيمٍ. He said, so plot against me, do whatever you want. Allah, all of you together, plot against me. And don't give me any respite. Indeed, I have relied upon Allah, my Lord and your Lord. There is no creature but that He holds it by its forelocks. He controls everything. Your enemy, your friends, everything in existence is in Allah's hands. When you obey Allah and go into that path, He will protect you. If you have an animal and the animal is chained and somebody powerful and great is holding the chain, do you fear the animal? You fear whoever holding the chain, because if he let it go, then it gets to you. So we go with Allah and let the evil people do whatever they want. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لكم فاستغفروه إنه الغفور الرحيم.